Hi everyone, my name is Vishal. Today is the 14th of August and I'm going to be making my weekly prediction for SPY. Now I know that this is Monday, but I am making this before the market opens. We can see the market opens here at around 5:30 and it's still only 12 p.m. So we have a lot of time before the market opens, and I wanted to make this video before the market opens so the prediction is still valid. And before getting into the video, it's important that I make the disclaimer that all information in this video is completely educational, and using this information to take trades is highly unadvisable because taking uninformed position can lead to risk, and this is all for the sake of prediction, and playing with real money is at your own risk. So now that we've covered the disclaimer, let's get into the video. So we'll go over the monthly, weekly, and finally the daily charts, just like usual. So with the monthly charts, same as last week, we can see that the upward trend line has still not been breached, and we have a consistent upwards motion, and we can't predict on this month yet, but we can see that we have a strong bearish moment, and we'll cover that as we get into the weekly and daily charts. But as for the previous months, we can see that we've had a steady upwards rise, and the RSI is going downwards. However, we can see that this is a divergence. The average RSI is showing a divergence to the price movement at the moment. However, we can see that the RSI has started to go up a little bit and then move down in this month. But we can still generally assume that the average RSI showing a divergence still is a minor hint towards a possible bearish movement. And we'll cover that more when we get into the weekly charts. Speaking of, we can see that the movement in a lot more detail now. We can see that the trend line is strongly upwards, and we can see that the average RSI is also going upwards for the weekly charts. So we can still see that the general trend is still upwards. But if we look closely here, we can see that the RSI has crossed the average from above to below and has continued to do so for this week as well. So this can be taken as a bearish signal for the last 2 weeks, which we can see have been red candles. Now this candle here was a strong red bearish candles. That's why last week's prediction was bearish. I clearly said that the market is going to go downwards. And as we can see, it clearly has. So we would have made a pretty good profit as well. So we can see this from the weekly charts, but what did we make out of it? Here, this is a spinning top candlestick, which shows market indecision, since the market did go up from the open, then went down, and then up again slightly. So we cannot make a prediction off of the weekly chart because we do not have the next candle to prove a decision, because this shows market confusion, this candle specifically. So we do need to wait for external indicators or the next candle to confirm. So if the next candle is a green candle, then we can generally assume that the market has a bullish, strong movement as for now. But another thing to notice is that the price movement is very, very close to the Bollinger Band here. And what tends to happen is a strong mean reversion. We can see this as the market, when it goes down, it reverses up to the mean. We can see here. And whenever, likewise, if it does trail to the upper side of the Bollinger Band, it's highly likely that it reverses down back to the mean. So this is what we might be seeing here from this price movement. Keeping that in mind, let's move to the daily charts. And here we can see the past 2 weeks' price movement in a lot more detail. Now I have drawn this as a channel which didn't look proportional in the weekly chart, but this was meant for the daily chart view. Now we can see that the RSI has gone down. The average RSI is steadily going down, and so is the actual RSI. So the indicator immediately shows us that we have a bearish signal. Plus the price movement here has been consistently going downwards for the past 2 weeks. Now, I have drawn extra resistance lines here just in case, when I'll explain these lines now. We can see that there has been a strong bearish movement in this week, but then we have this green candle. So now we have a few options to take the trade. Either we wait for the channel breakout, which is what I am predicting or waiting for this week, since we do have the FOMC meeting minutes this week as well. So that might sway the predictions a little bit, so I am being safe for this week's prediction. So in order to take an upwards or a long trade, we wait for the breakout of the channel here. Or if the market does continue to go downwards, then we wait for the break of the support at 443.94. So in the event of whichever direction this does happen in is the prediction where my prediction lies. So now that we've covered the technicals, let's go to the Excel sheet and finalize this prediction. Okay, so here we are on the Excel sheet for the project showing the 11 trades we've made so far, plus the 12th prediction that I'm just going to go over now. So this is for the week from ending on the 18th of August 2023. So the prediction is, again, no trade yet. We don't like to trade like immediately unless there is certain proof, just to ensure that we are in the right direction. We wait for the channel breakout, the channel that we saw in the charts for the daily chart. We saw the downward channel, so we wait for it to cross up because there's a high possibility that this rally is a flag. So we wait for that to happen, and if it does go upwards, we make sure that we enter it as soon as it crosses it, but we sell when it falls below the support at 443.94. That was the red support line almost at the candle ending last week. Because there's a higher possibility that the market continues to go downwards, we're taking the risk that when it does end up crossing the support below, then we have a strong bearish conviction. But because of the option chain signal as well that we'll cover in like a minute, we see that a lot of people have a higher bullish prediction for the week. So we're being a little bit safe and allowing the price action to first confirm upwards. And because the channel is relatively narrow, it should close upwards in no time if the bullish conviction is strong enough to break the flag, which should be on high volume anyways, going by rules of technical analysis. So when this does happen, we should immediately enter a long trade and therefore capitalize the profit. But this is the safest prediction. We have the target of 1% with a trailing stop loss, obviously. However, if this is on the last day, then we do have to narrow this target because from experience, the last day almost like the safe target is around 0.5% for the week. So if the target or stop loss are not hit, but we are in a trade, then we take whatever we get on the closing price on Friday. And the max OI for the monthly expiry, there's no weekly expiry because this week is the monthly expiry, is 430 for CE at 83,133 and 430 for PE at 125,767. So the PE went up from 420 to 430, which is a bullish signal since more people now think that the market is going to stay above a higher price. So this has a very strong bullish implication as people already have these positions open. So what's very likely to happen is when the week does open, we see a strong bullish move because of the conviction of option sellers who think that there is an upwards movement possible. The monthly PCR is 2.18. The price action is the downward channel that I was just talking about. The weekly trend is still up because technically speaking, the trend lines have not been breached, and the monthly trend is still up because we can't predict on the current month, so the trend line is still active for the moment. So naturally, whenever this does happen, I will record it on the Excel sheet. As we can see from last week, we did enter a short sell on the 10th of August at 448.19 as the entry price, and the total of 228 shares were bought, giving us a market exposure of 102,187.32 US dollars. The exit price was 443.71, so we made a total profit of 1,021.44 US dollars on our hypothetical capital. So we are at a current balance of 103,251.43. So this is going to conclude the video, and I will see you next week where I make my prediction and the short review of last week's prediction as well. But until then, I'll see you next time, and thanks for watching.